In realms long forgotten, there are tales of the Forest Kingdom, a place of honour and chivalry, known to some as the Land of the Purple Dragon, but known to all as Cormyr.
Hi, I'm Theoda, and I'm playing Hiram, a half-orc paladin.
Hi, my name's Carl. I'm playing Cassie Donahue, human bard.
Hi, I'm Julia, and I'm playing Badger, a forest gnome monk.
Hi, my name is Anton, and I play Balthazar, a Warforged Cloak of Azuth.
Hi, my name is Elle, and I'm playing Slate, a changeling druid.
Hi, I'm Matt, and I'm playing Zombo, who is a halfling rogue/warlock.
And my name is Dan. I shall be the Dungeon Master on this adventure. Good evening, everyone, and happy new year. Welcome back to the start of level 9 in the Cormyr Echoes of War campaign. How are you all doing?
Very happy
Very
to be
good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dan.
To be back.
Wonderful.
Pretty good.
Well, we've been off for a couple of weeks, so I know that you are ready and waiting. You are raring, you are chomping at the bit to begin again. So let's just spring into it, shall we? As news spreads of forces loyal to the king clashing with Raedra in the king's forest, discontent and strife began to surge throughout Cormyr. Whilst few would openly oppose the crown, many decried Ezered's seemingly bloodthirsty attacks on the former monarch, as hearsay and gossip spread throughout the lands. Violent clashes grew as bounties for the capture of Raedra or her supporters, dead or alive, resulted in innocent citizens, notably red-headed women, being chased down in the streets. The loyalist Purple Dragons have attempted to invoke martial law across most towns and cities, but they find themselves stretched perilously thin. Ever a haven for rebellious souls, Arabelle stands defiantly independent in spite of the brewing conflict. Other threats, such as the hunter who hates and her Githyanki, the seeming re-emergence of Sharan enemies, and the mysterious Illithids who also loom over the Warhounds. And to top it all off, our heroes find themselves face to face with an old enemy. You find yourselves with breath caught in your throats as you look at the male elf stood behind the imposing form of the silver dragonborn Viraxus. And for as you blink slowly, it's I suspect potentially quite difficult to acknowledge that in front of you is Garabrael, the former coronal guard of Semberholm. And the male elf looks at you all and looks at you all through one working eye. A scar lining from his forehead across his left eye and down his cheek, glinting like the milky and dead eye glinting softly in the firelight. The one thing you notice is that although he looks the same, he is not looking at you as he once did. There is a look of acknowledgement, but it is clear that this Garabrael does not know you. Standing across from him, in the soft fireplace, the crackling fireplace light, is a female wood elf with a streak of green and a streak of white through her braided hair. You would all recognize her to be Shana, Badger's mentor, who you have met previously in the city of Suzail, when she was part of the Semberholm delegation sent to help prevent a war between Raidra's Cormyr and Ilsevel Miritar's Semberholm. Between them is the Silver Dragonborn, who it would seem, judging by what he has said, has been the benefactor of the bandit job with which you've successfully completed, having returned from the King's Forest. In front of the Dragonborn is a table upon which sits a black chest that is open. Inside the black chest is the severed head of a creature that looks monstrously like a squid. And this Silver Dragonborn, Varaxus, has told you that it is the head of an Illithid, also known as a Mind Flayer. The Dragonborn looks to you in turn and then says,
Yes, so I understand that you have all met before.
You can say that, yes.
Hiram, as you respond, you feel the slightest tugging on your cape. And if you look down, you can see that Emily has gone uncharacteristically pale as she stares directly into the face of Garabrael, who you notice glances at her, but then looks away. Seemingly oblivious as to why he has caught Emily's attention.
I think I'm going to look at the rest of you and say, can you guys handle this for just 1 second? We will be back very shortly, and I would like to lead Emily out of the room.
Okay. As you go, you hear the Dragonborn.
Oh, is there a problem?
He says,
No problem. I will be back shortly. I talk her right.
Like as you go to walk her out, she's as stiff as a statue, as solid as a statue, and you have to give her a couple of encouraging tugs before she kind of moves. But you notice her, her eyes are locked on Garabrael for as long as they can be, seemingly transfixed, before you snap her out of it and she follows you out.
Sorry, it's just that last time we were in companies such as this, things did get a bit heated.
Could someone tell me who the bleeding owl this is?
Badger's gonna step forward slightly and say, I don't think most of us have met, except you and I did once, didn't we, Garabrael? In the palace.
Garabrael looks to you and...
Yes. You're the gnome that I met in the palace of Suzail.
You were with... And he thinks, you were with a war wizard.
That's right, Robert DeVasco.
It
was
was
Magnus's
peculiar
old
for you to be walking around that late an hour.
Yes, that conversation we had is making a lot more sense now, actually. But it was quite confusing at the time. You see, we thought you were the other Garabrael, and as I'm speaking, I'm realizing there's quite a lot that you could probably help us unpack here.
Garabrael takes a deep breath and...
If this were any other day, I would assume that you were talking nonsense, but it would seem that there has been quite a peculiar journey for the Warhounds up until this point.
I mean, you're aware there was an imposter Garabrail, right? We saw you fight him in the throne room. You defended the Queen.
His eyes narrow,
Yes, I am acutely aware.
and as he says that, an ember from the fire reflects across his dead eye.
Yes. So sorry about that. That looks quite nasty.
Shana kind of looks around to you all, and you see her smile at you, Badger. It's a genuine smile. She also looks towards what flavor slate is slate today? I can't remember. Is slate in Ameline form?
I would say probably
Was it
Rufus form.
Rufus? Okay. In which case, Shana looks to Badger, Katya, Hiram's left. Just the two of you, actually. Then, and there's a smile. Katya, you see that there's a smile of acknowledgement and remembrance of memory, and Shana kind of lifts, like, her eyebrows raise as she says, there are so many new faces here. I trust that everything has been okay since we last saw each other in Suzale.
Sort of
And-
joined the loyalists, and we had to recruit for a replacement, and we ended up with 2.
Magnus, the
Wolves.
the dour fellow.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I see. Well, the monk looks to you, Balthazar, and you, Zumbo, and she bows at the waist, and gives you does a little kind of gesture with her hands where it looks like she's cupping a circle with her tips to palms, and as she stands up and regards the two of you, my name is Shana. I am part of the... And she stops. I am part of the Elemental Arbor. I was once Badger's mentor. It is good to meet you. You find yourselves in good company amongst the Warhounds.
Likewise, it's good to meet you too, I guess. Although the circumstances are a bit strange.
Yeah. She nods. Hiram, you're outside. You can hear light conversation going on the other side of the door as you step out. Are you leaving the door ever so slightly ajar, or are you closing the door on your way out?
I think I'm going to leave it ajar because I am planning on going back as soon as we can because, it's important.
Yes. Okay. In which case, as you step out into the hallway, Emily looks... It's kind of scary, actually, because she looks catatonic.
I am going to kneel in front of her and just grab her shoulders and say, it's not him. I know he looks like him, but I need you to remember this. This is not him. You are still safe.
Emily's breaths are extremely light and shallow as you say this. And
I am going to remember what Badger said when... So Hiram is going to remember what Badger said when he had a panic attack and just say, Emily, breathe with me. Just deep breath in. Deep breath in, count to 7, keep it in, and then let it out slowly. Just do it with me.
Okay.
I try to encourage you to do it a couple of times.
So she, like, as you say this to her, like, her eyes have been locked on you as you kind of knelt down. But you just don't get you weren't getting the impression that she was actually focusing on you. As you start to talk to her, you notice that her eyes start to quiver slightly, as if they're becoming more present. And then she looks at you, and you feel her begin to start like shaking in your arms, like in your hands.
Okay.
And she takes in as she starts to take in the breath with you, she instinctively clutches at her stomach, where you know where the other Garabrail struck her with his sword.
Mm.
And like you see her almost kind of pouring at her stomach as if she's expecting something to be wrong, but she daren't look down. She's just looking at you. She eventually takes in the breath and holds it before shakily letting it out. And you notice as she does, the quivering seems to stop.
Okay, I am going to hug you now. Please don't bite me. And I will do so.
Okay. As you hug her, you feel her instinctively tense, and then she just relaxes into it.
I'm sorry. I wish this was not. I wish this was not happening.
And like as you hold her head kind of at the side by your ear, you hear her whisper, It's his eyes. I just remember the eyes.
I know. Listen, let's find a way around this. What do you think would help? Would not looking at him help? Do you want to stay out here?
She kind of pulls herself away from you a little bit, primarily just so she can kind of look you in the face. And like you see her kind of bite down on her back teeth slightly, and she shakes her head, her little pigtails flop around a bit. And she looks up to you and says, "No, I'm going to go back in. I'm going to face him." And she looks at you dead in the eyes. Because that's what you would do.
Oh, kiddo. Okay, but the second you don't feel well, let me know. You don't have to stay. Okay?
She nods, and I think I know how I can deal with this, she says. And she kind of nods to herself.
Please don't shoot him. I know it's tempting, and it is tempting. I give you that. But this is not the one that caused all that trouble.
Okay. She looks to you and she kind of reaches over her shoulder, unclasps her crossbow, hands you the crossbow.
Okay. Thank you for being responsible.
And like you see her kind of take a deep breath and stand up straight. You can tell from the way she's holding herself that she's really struggling, but she's effectively doing her best to put on a brave face.
Okay. Last chance. Are you sure?
And she nods.
Okay, I'm gonna give a little fist. Like, we can beat this trauma, can't we?
And yes, we can. And she reaches out and grabs your fist with her hand.
Okay, yeah, we will practice that. Okay. And then we go back inside.
Okay. So the rest of you hear the door open behind you. Well, the door swing kind of open again. You hear like the heavy footfalls of Hiram coming in, like his feet reverberating on the wooden floor. And you all watch as like Emily walks in, takes a deep, like does a big puff, like puffs her chest out, and then you watch as she walks over to Garabrail, and in the blink of an eye brings her leg back and BAM! Kicks him square in the shin. And
I should have been more specific, guys.
and you hear like Shana's eyes fly open, the Dragonborn, and Garabel as he teeses over, because no matter how hardened a warrior you are, an unexpected kick to the shins will write you off. And Emily stands there, watches Garabel teeter over a bit, and then as he stands up, looks to her, and there's this flaring anger in his eyes. She purses her lips and says, "I'm Emily," she says. And then with her, like, still with her chest puffed out, she turns and sort of like walks back alongside you, Hiram, and then just, you notice she stood ever so slightly more behind you than she might be normally.
As Emily's walking back, Rufus will just kind of flash a little like thumbs up, like "Great job, kiddo," kind of thing.
Garabrail slowly kind of raises up, holding his knee, as he kind of rubs it ever so slightly, and you see him going to his face says he wants to pick up on this, but he decides to. He just clears his throat, stands upright, tries to palm it off. Yeah. The Dragonborn blinks a few times and
Well, that was somewhat unexpected, but yes, we do not have an incredible amount of time, but I'm sure you may have some questions for myself or my companion, so perhaps you would like to ask them now.
Yeah, I got a question for the Shana, was it?
Yes, says the wood elf.
Yeah, Zombo, sorry. I spent a fair amount of time in various arbours, and I ain't ever heard of the elemental one. Whereabouts is it?
Very good, very good. I don't know if you've got operation. So what? Let's pour you all out. So she blinks a few times. It takes her a little while longer, perhaps a tad longer than the Warhounds, for example. And she begins explaining to you the location of the Order of the Elemental Arbor in the treetops of Simberholm. And it's when she catches a look from Badger that she stops and realizes that there's been some gross miscommunication here. Because she notes at one point that martial arts with a wooden leg. Now that is impressive. She mentions before realizing that you are definitely not a monk. And she ends by saying, "Well, truth be told, I would quite enjoy being back in Semberholm presently, but it would seem that my attention is required elsewhere," she says, looking at you, Badger.
Yes. What are you doing here, Shana? The last time I saw you, you were accompanying the coronal.
Yes. To say that being part of that delegation was testing would be an understatement. The Elemental Arbor were picked specifically for their strict adherence to neutrality in the matters of elves and men. But nothing could have prepared me for what transpired within the Cormyrian throne room that day. It was enough to make me realize that I found my neutrality somewhat stifling. I had hoped that everything that happened within the throne room would have been the end of this period of aggression within Cormyr, but it would seem that you and the Warhounds have been able to dig just that little bit deeper and find some more dilemmas to solve.
Kind of just fall into these things and uncover them. Don't give us too much credit.
I'm beginning to appreciate the truth of that statement, Miss Donahue, yes. Put simply, Badger, I'm here because I'm worried about you.
Me?
The Arbor doesn't know I'm here.
What?
I cannot, in good conscience, allow whatever is about to happen in Cormyr happen, especially whilst someone as dear to my heart as you adventures within its borders. And I feel that if we were to take a stance of passiveness, whatever befalls Cormyr will soon befall Semberholm as well. And whilst simply closing the gates has worked in the past, this feels different. This feels worse than before.
Hmm. Well,
There is a hysteria that seems to spread through these lands, and a malice, a spiritual poison, and I wish to do what I can to help you all.
so what is your agenda? And Badger looks at all three, the Silver Dragonborn and Garabrael as well, and she says that. What is it you seek to achieve here?
The Dragonborn,
As I previously said, I wish to root out this menace. I am part of a small yet influential order of paladins known as the Golden Chain. We look ever upwards for threats from without that attempt to strike from within, and we root them out with ruthless efficiency. As such, finding so many examples of illithid influence is highly distressing and alarming. I have been tasked with cleansing this illithid menace, but it would seem that the threat is more widespread than before. I understand that my companion, Garabrael here, was implicated in...
and before he gets a chance to finish, Garabrael kicks in and...
I want to find out why there was a clone of me with an intellect devourer running round in my stead.
So,
That's a good question.
so you think that the illithid infestation is connected with the internal strife within Cormyr?
You notice that Garabrael looks less interested as you say that, but the Dragonborn still looks at you intently.
Yes, the normally illithid colonies are somewhat small and self-contained. Their machinations are dangerous, but rarely do they spread across such a wide area. It is highly concerning that what appears to be the same Illithid plan stretches from Cormyr all the way through Cormanthor to the east, perhaps further afield. Who knows how far these dark tendrils reach underground?
And what's that got to do with bandits in the King's Forest? And it seems like a lot of money for something that don't have anything to do with these Illithids.
Well,
Not
I
that I'm
have-
complaining, obviously.
I have heard that, from what I understand, the nation of Cormyr is currently having some identity crises at the moment. If Cormyrian is currently fighting Cormyrian, if this king, Aberrad, Urgebold, Ezerad, thank you. If this Ezerad is currently preoccupied hunting down his cousin, then they are not. If they are not united, then the Illithid menace can run rampant. By enticing powerful adventurers like yourself to find what have been described as bandits, then perhaps I would hope, and it would seem that you have successfully accomplished the mission of rousing Raedra to action. If Raedra were to understand the threats that await Cormyr, perhaps her and Ezerad can put their heads together and provide a united front against the Mind Flayer menace.
Good luck with that.
Badger, as you say that, you hear another
Huh.
from behind the Dragonborn from Garabrail. He pipes up and says,
I've told you, Dragonborn. There's no point trying to stop the squabbling of the noble houses of Cormyr. All we need to do is purge this Illithid threat. We can leave this place.
I do want to point out that some of the problem does stem from your ruler. This situation didn't just create itself just by Cormyrian problems. It is the majority of it, yes. But it was your queen giving us an ultimatum that forced our hand.
you hear the leather of Garabrail's glove tightening across the pommel of his sword. He relaxes and
Whilst it could be said that perhaps the actions of Ilsevel Miritar were brash, we have still yet to receive any form of apology or reparation for the burning of Elfmound beneath the bowels of Halak. They say that the spirits of our ancestors are still in flame. And whilst it may seem that Cormyr were not the perpetrators of this villainous act, I have yet to see Cormyr take any action to remedy this tragedy.
So you admit it wasn't Cormyr's fault, but you still want...
It happened on Cormyr lands.
Yeah, it happened on Cormyr lands, and by the time we were aware it was not Cormyr, by the time the queen would know about it, suddenly she was cast out. I see where you are coming from. I'm not trying to be antagonistic here. I'm just saying, if you come with this attitude to the table, I don't really see why we should work with you.
Badger just cringes when Hiram says that.
Shana kind of slowly edges in, and we understand that perhaps, given that you are currently celebrating a more celebrity status as adventurers throughout the country, that you would perhaps find yourselves at a bit of a crossroads. You would find yourselves pulled between one side or the other. We simply wish to propose a third perspective. If we were to combine forces, perhaps you could act with a tad more neutrality in the matters ahead. You wouldn't have to necessarily declare for Raedra or for Ezered, although I could appreciate it would be somewhat difficult if someone asks why you're working with supposed enemies of the state.
If I may, might already be a bit too late for that. We were quite actively seen assisting Raedra in the battle.
If you remember, Katya, that old man fell off that cart.
Yes. There was also other incidents that happened.
Who knows what happened at that keep, Katya? There was a lot of smoke, a lot of dragons flying around. No one can really say who was on whose side, surely.
Viraxis steps back in and...
We simply wished to offer a hand of friendship and companionship to you all. We will be operating within Cormyr's borders. Normally, as I understand it, we would require some sort of adventuring charter to do so, but from what I gather, the forces of Cormyr are somewhat preoccupied to be checking adventurers' charters. And if Cormyr is too preoccupied to save itself, then, at the very least, I will do what I can to save Cormyr myself.
So, what is it you want of me and my crew here, then? Are we got an active role in your plan here, or would you rather we just carried on with our business and...
Is this a sort of situation where you want us to get you heads of mind flayers? I mean, it seems a bit difficult. How much are we getting per head?
Good question, Slate.
So the Dragonborn chuckles and says, well,
we were fortunate to find this runt here. It was a straggler looking for food a bit too eagerly. Let its guard down, allowed me to pounce and strike. However, having recently arrived in these lands, I know not of the locations or the exact plans of the Illithid. All I know is that they decided that the identity of this elf behind me was important enough to impersonate him for some considerable time and use it to destabilize Cormyr. The further specifics, I do not know. But I suppose all I would ask of you is that you continue doing what it is you're doing. If you were perhaps investigating this matter as this crisis as a matter of urgency, perhaps you would be willing to share your information with us, so we may aid you in stomping out the Mind Flayers. Earlier you mentioned dragon riding people.
Correct.
Can you describe them to me?
Yes.
Scary.
Yes. Yes,
They-
scary. Thank you, Balthazar. Catcher.
Mostly
were-
scary.
They were green elves. They had no noses, and the dragons were red.
Excellent description.
Very, very splotchy as well. I think they have kind of dark spots.
The Dragonborn looks to you, Rufus.
You were about to say something?
Yes, I was going to say they were riding the dragons.
I see.
It's true. Yeah.
Yeah, they got a friend of ours as well. An elf like you. Bit vacant looking. Nice lady.
The Dragonborn closes his eyes and lets out a deep breath.
I suppose that tracks. The Githyanki are ancient enemies of the Illithid. They are pirates who roam the astral seas aboard great ships that sail across the sea of stars. They pose ever since their leader, Vlakith, the Lich Queen, once signed a pact with Tiamat, my sire's sister. And from that pact born an alliance between Githyanki and Red Dragon. The only thing that stops Githyanki from raiding innocent settlements is if they are on the hunt for mind flayers. If they have been drawn here, you can almost guarantee that the Illithid are not far away. In fact, I would take this almost as confirmation of the mind flayer's presence within Cormyr.
Could you go back to the bit you said about ships floating on the astral sea? Was it? Would it help if we were to take one of those?
You have methods of transporting to the astral plane?
I don't know. How odd can it be?
Garabrel closes his eyes and lets out a sigh from behind the Dragonborn. Balthazar, you probably know.
Yeah, I can make an Arcana check. That would pan out. Let's go. I don't know, for some reason then I can't actually see the map. I just get some weird... Yeah. I can't... Where's my character sheet? How does this work?
Tell you what, I can... Is it an Arcana check you're rolling, yeah?
Hold on, we're getting there. Arcana +4, normal. Oh, yes, let's go.
Nice start.
Holy moly!
24,
Balth-
baby.
Balthazar studied this stuff.
um,
Bedtime reading.
Okay, so yeah, with a 24, blimey. So you know that the astral sea is a plane of existence that effectively it's the space between realms in a grand sense of scheme. So the idea is when you look up at the night sky, and you can see the stars, that is fundamentally that is very basically that's the astral sea. Some refer to the astral sea as space, simply because it is the expanse between here and there. So yeah, the Githyanki supposedly sail the astral sea, and by the sounds of it, they have access to planar travel. They sail aboard star-faring ships. And as you kind of put those two and twos together, it dawns on you that the large silhouette that appeared over Fort Lymera a few days ago was perhaps the underside of one of these large astral vessels.
Well, I guess I'll just make mention of that to the party.
But yes, sorry, and it's not simply like you have to, like it's teleportation to get you to the astral plane. So unfortunately for Zumbo, you won't be able to get a ship and then tie lots of balloons to it and end up in the astral sea.
Don't give me problems. He's not worried about any of that. His eyes are just like bulging out of there. It looks like he's been told it's Christmas, twice over.
Yeah, so
You can be a pirate in space.
You can sail a ship without a speck of water in sight.
This is like the best news he's ever heard.
The kind of character I would love to be a space pirate.
Yeah.
So, Rufus just jumps in again. So, are we supposed to be on the side of the Githyanki then?
The Dragonborn frowns, and
The Githyanki are an arrogant, selfish, cruel race. They are pirates first and foremost. As soon as the Illithid menace was dealt with, they would simply turn their attentions to you. They are just as dangerous as the mind flayers they hunt.
What do they want?
It depends on the size of the Githyanki force. A small raiding party would enter a mind flayer lair and root out the Illithids within. They would take their trophies. They would return home to the astral plane. Larger mind flayer infestations require greater responses from the Githyanki. And the Githyanki can call upon the might of an empire to deal with the gravest of Illithid threats.
They don't like themselves. So you just want our help with dealing with either? Is that all we have to do?
Correct.
Do we also then get money for Githyanki heads? Do we have to bring those back too?
I don't want to do the chopping.
The Dragonborn frowns, and
I suspect that payment can be arranged, but I would have thought that the duty of cleansing Cormyr of the threats that lay before it is payment enough. No?
I mean, there is a great deal of goodness from yes, doing that completely, but does make it a bit more fun also if we do have to bring back these heads. I mean, I don't really want to be cutting off heads either, but I mean, if this is what we're doing, this is why you've got
can we just knock out heads?
I think
Maybe
what my colleague is trying to get at is honor doesn't get you food.
Or chips.
Or shit.
I don't eat.
Also, I want to point out, not all of us are Cormyrian.
he looks around and,
Well, my apologies. I fear that perhaps the threats that lie ahead of you are not Cormyrian solely, but Cormantheran as well.
Can we at least have like a tally board or a chart or something to, make it a bit more? I mean,
Can we give us
obviously.
little golden stars whenever we kill one of them?
I
See-
find this highly macabre.
I mean, you're the one standing in front of us with a severed head, so I mean.
and he gently closes the wooden box in front of him.
My apologies. I had not appreciated that you would feel squeamish.
Look, it's been quite a long day, and it was a bit confusing as to why that was there. I'm guessing that now the box is closed, that maybe that's not what we're supposed to be doing.
Okay.
I think, could we maybe have an evening to talk among ourselves and think about your offer and then come back to you in the morning?
He nods.
We will be staying for one night, and then we will be setting off.
He pauses.
I understand that you have a close relationship with Tarkalon,
Maybe?
the pit fiend in the foyer.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. We met twice so far. I'm not sure if that counts as a close relationship.
We're really good
Talked-
friends.
Talked once and then he looked at us once.
I mean, if that's what they've been saying, then yes, very
Marvelous.
close.
I'm
Why?
not going to
What
disagree.
did you hear? Did you hear we're close?
Well,
I'm
Oh my
not going to disagree.
Sorry.
I was conversing with one of the peculiar gnomes that operate as staff within this establishment.
Ah,
I understand that if I were to provide payment for you, if I were to provide payment and you accept the job from Tarkalon, then the enchantments in this tavern will transport you to the scene of the location that I have indicated the job to take place in. It is partly the reason why I sent you after bandits in the King's Forest.
oh, so there was nothing specific about that particular job. It was just bandits
I
in the forest.
I had hoped you would find Queen Raedra, but... Well, sorry, beg my pardon. Raedra. But... And it seems that my plan worked. I am not used to being subtle. I'm used to staring my enemy in the face and tearing his throat out.
Oh,
Yes.
good.
There was always a mild discrepancy in the amount of your reward. How many platinum pieces do you say were in those bags again?
There was 500 platinum for the job you have just completed. But, depending on what... I think we're in a position where you can tell me go and place the job listing, which will transport you to that destination. I have meager coffers, he says, but I am willing to pay.
This seems like a sensible way of doing it, given that we can make use of the tavern's transportation abilities.
So, what do we need to do next? We shake hands and say, cool, we'll help you out, and that's it?
I will take you on your honor's word that you will cooperate with me for the tasks ahead. Simply, if you wish to employ my services, simply tell me where you would like to investigate the Illithid menace, and I will post a job to Tarkalon that will allow you to transport there.
Do we have to know the place by name, or can we just describe it in...
I understand that I have to be given a specific place name. The more specific you are, hopefully the closer you will be when you arrive.
I think I know
It is a
where.
peculiar enchantment. It seems to teleport you to other taverns. Almost like a countrywide fast travel.
I think I know where we'd need to go.
Yes?
I think Wayloon may be the first port of call we might need to go
Yes.
down.
Yes, that's the only named lead we have at the moment, isn't it?
Garabrail frowns and...
The prison city. What lies within Wayloon?
Well, but we don't know. We haven't been there yet.
Some connection to Shar, maybe.
That's it.
He frowns and
I grow tired of these conversations. If you're planning on going to Walloon, I'm coming with you.
Oh.
There will be no discussion on the matter. I will accept.
We
Either I
we
go with
kind
you
of
or I accept a job instead of.
But there's a very thorough recruitment process you have to go through. Like
Yeah.
we don't normally accept everyone. Like Zumbar and I had to do it. You have to do it as well.
The interview was pretty grueling, mate. Not sure you'd
Yes,
get for it.
if you're not joining, you'll have to accept a consultant's rate, I'm afraid.
and also
Unpaid intern.
Intern, yes.
we have to know that you're going to be cool enough to ride. Now, you seem great, but
Like, can you be cool though?
can you hang?
I would try an eye patch. I mean, black goes with everything.
The other you was decidedly uncool.
And the other you got kind of, used to keep his face on show quite a bit. You're kind of well known now.
Garabel just
Can
looks
you get
at
a
me.
fake nose?
There is like this sword mage is looking at you incredulously. Just
I struggle to believe that you managed to best me in combat.
he says.
It was a struggle, believe me.
He stands upright.
It is settled. When you leave for Walloon, I will accompany.
Settled?
As an intern. Okay.
Did we settle that?
He did.
The Dragonborn grins.
Marvelous. Well, I will not place the job posting until the morning. Are you in agreement that you are wishing to head to Walloon?
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Haven't been there.
Just one question. You where were you lot planning to head? In your, if you said you didn't know where the Illithid were, what was going to be your first move?
Well, this place stands. It is somewhat of a tavern between dimensions. It is an extraplanar hub that connects many realms. One place. There are many travelers. There are many whispers and rumors which travel over the tankards and drinks that flow within these magical walls. I was hoping to find some rumors or some information from some of the patrons. I must confess I find this sort of research tedious, but I am assured by Shana that it would be best. It would be wisest if I have a better idea of what I'm looking for before I.
So I'm going to turn around to the group and go. So they're going to go off to a super cool tavern and have a great time while we go to the prison city, and that's cool.
Yes, I always admire direct action when it comes to a plan. I commend you on your forward thinking and your motivation.
Is it not possible for you and Gabriel to swap places? He looks like the kind of person who can definitely get information out of people.
The Dragonborn and Shana both look at Garabrail, who's like he's turned his back to you. He's getting things ready. He's drawn his sword and he's just sort of like wiping some dust off the blade. And the two of them look back to you and just shake their heads. And Shana pipes in. Garabrail has ever been an in-your-face problem solver.
Goody.
Do you include a clause in the contract that he has to do what we say?
The contracts are purely for payment. They are not binding of the soul, unfortunately.
Mm.
Oh god.
I'll ask Sarkalon, but I'm not confident.
Out of game. What time of day is it?
It is morning,
Morning. Okay, so
like late morning.
when does Garbo want to go to Walloon? In the evening or next day?
So yeah, thingy Vraxis will post the job posting like tomorrow. So you've got a day in Arabelle just to do some stuff in and around town.
Okay, sounds good.
Cool. Okay, is there any other? Have you got any other questions for the trio?
No. Did we add the money to our inventories already? By the way, I can't remember.
No.
Maybe.
No.
We'll just remember you're 5,000 gold richer.
Good lord.
Blimey.
Just each. Was that
Ooh.
total?
Not each total.
No.
Cool. Okay, so
And, wait, actually, out of character again. What was the link with Shar that we found? I can't remember where Shar came from.
Mm.
There's a Sharian artifact that we are looking for.
Oh, that's the artifact that is connected to our elven friend.
Yeah.
I don't know if we know it's. I don't know if we know the artifact Shah, and we know that Wayloon's got a link to Shah, and we
Yeah.
saw the place that Renna saw looked kind of like the Shaman temple you guys know.
Right.
But
Who
I
just
don't.
dropped out, by the way?
Carl.
I just-
Alright, I've got him.
Right, yeah.
Oh, Carl's gone. Oh, sorry.
He's back.
Sorry about that. I just hit the wrong button.
so
Everything disappeared. I was like,
Yeah.
"What?"
there was a what was it? There's a kind of history well known that Wayloon's kind of got sort of an underground Sharan worship kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Had
Wasn't going to be underground, wasn't
No,
it?
that's like the whole deal with Walloon,
Yeah.
isn't it? And why it got imprisoned in the first
Yeah.
place. Because the Sharan worship was just so rampant that the authorities went, you know what? You guys sort it
Shut
out
it
between
down.
yourselves and just put
Yeah.
a wall around it, including Magnus's parents.
Yeah, everybody over there was just like super emo. For like 20 years. They had to lock it down. They were like, nope, too much.
Yeah, so
Close it down.
you know from Renna's visions that she saw a vision of Walloon.
Yeah.
She saw a vision of some temple, keep, something with like dark stone. There were the statues in the walls of what appeared to be like hooded, bearded men. And there was a Sharan symbol hanging from a nearby banner. And Renna said, "Oh, yeah, it was talking about the voices."
Alright, so we've
Yeah.
got Githyanki, Sharans, and Illithids. And they're all connected somehow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a mad
I
one.
vote
Okay.
we do go to space to be space pirates and just leave this.
Just leave it all
people.
behind. Whole new adventure, Dan.
Seconded.
just as a question. Sorry, bear with me. As a person, I can't remember what happened with Baz and him addressing his council.
Yes. Yeah. So we can. We will have time to quickly jump back and quick flashback because I believe Katja wanted to have some chats with Magnus before you lot left Fort Lymera. So we can do some flashbacks to what happened there.
Cool.
Yes. Cool. Anything else? Anyone?
I mean, is anyone else curious about like what? I mean, apart from talking to people in taverns, what information is there? Any kind of like additional information, usefulness that they can help with? To
I
know.
feel like we need to do a side quest first before we can unlock the next main scenario.
Yeah.
Would
fair
it
enough.
because Ray just said that her lot would need to find somewhere new to live, right? So would it be worth asking around Arabelle to see if people might be sympathetic, or do we want to just stay out of Radra's business from now
I
on?
mean,
I think she's a
Slate
big
would
girl. She
stay
can sort
out.
it herself.
Yeah,
Um,
Slate would stay out of Raidra's business.
I mean, you lot know that. So in the days, like you've been in Arabelle a little while, you know that Arabelle is being proudly independent. Like it's almost like a more boisterous version of Switzerland in the war. Like it's kind of standing as a like you lot do you. We're just gonna carry on being Arabelle. Bear in mind, Arabelle as a city has seceded from the nation of Cormyr like 4 times.
No.
Yeah, so it's
Quite interesting, given obviously that's kind of where Raider was almost like vaporized or deoxidized or whatever as well. So I mean, I don't know if it's the sort of place you want to spend much of your time.
But yes. Okay, so yeah, I mean, you could speak around asking for Raidra. I know that Katya wants to think back on a conversation she had a few days ago. Zumbo, I believe that your leather coat is slightly patchy and messy, needs dry cleaning.
Yeah.
Some of you want to go shopping.
Mm-hmm. 1,000 gold in our pockets.
1,000 gold in your pockets. And Badger perhaps has a telling off to deliver.
A bollocking, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
What was the name of the order that the Dragonborn was part of?
The Golden Chain.
How do you spell the Dragonborn's name again?
Varaxus. So Vraxxus.
Varaxxus.
He's a gold Dragonborn?
Silver Dragonborn.
Silver, okay. Okay.
Those of you with high nature or high wisdom would know to be the paladins of the Dragonborn world.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, I guess we say cheers to them and see you tomorrow.
Okay.
Is there any kind of guarantee? There's no danger of anyone else taking this.
I will address this job specifically for the attention of Warhounds and Garabrael and Melina. As we all agreed.
Brackets
Although it would be
intern.
hilarious if someone tried to take it.
Another war base.
You get there is the war dogs.
Yeah. Just got it. Oops.
It's Gimbal and Co.
Cool.
Gimble's the new leader of the war dogs.
Oh,
Hey, we
God.
should visit Gimbal. We should visit Gimbal. He's in Arabelle, right?
He is.
Oh god.
Should we?
Anybody needs to send a message to Raidra or Magnus or their parents, just go ahead.
Right. So, with the negotiations and discussions complete, Varaxxus shows you to the door, so you may busy yourselves around Arabelle for the rest of the day, in preparation for the job posting tomorrow morning. Marvelous. In which case, as you let yourselves out of the small, quaint little room, you find yourselves in a corridor that stretches left or right. You can hear noise and bustle from either ends, and as you begin to work your way through the corridors of the World Serpent's Inn, you find yourselves back in the main foyer, the main drinking section. As you enter in, you hear the booming voice of Mitrofa from behind the bar as he yes, you hear him say as he kind of hands out some more drinks and food to some of the fellow patrons. And as you kind of exit out into the main halls, as you walk, the sea of gnome staff the what you know to be the Lovecraft gnomes that just kind of pottering around, handing up, dishing up plates and whatnot. They're parting like the sea as you walk through them. But as you kind of walk into the main area, like, are you grabbing a seat or are you going straight out?
I don't have a seat. Need to chat things out a bit.
Okay.
I would want to sit down next to Balthazar and just look up and go, "Are you all right, buddy? Do you want to see the gnomes at all here while you're here? I mean,
Yeah, if they're around, it might be good to get some answers. I'll ask around. See if Mixie and Ferret are about.
So in which case, Slate, as you say that, and Balthazar stood just kind of looking around, 3 times taller than any of the gnomes rushing around his legs. You
come up one by one. No. No. No.
You, Slate, you hear, "Ah, there you are!" And there's a distinctive click, and you watch as Balthazar just slumps in the spot.
Hey!
Freezes and slumps. And like his lights go out.
hey, did you see that?
"Hello!" says Mixie and Ferret as they emerge from behind Balthazar. And they look up at Balthazar's inert. "So, he's come. You brought him back in one piece. Did everything go fine?" Says this little gnome as he adjusts his glasses and his little brown hat.
Did you ask him before you did that? I don't think that's particularly. I'm trying to like wave Balthazar like, "Hello."
There's no point.
Really,
We turned him off.
That's rude.
Why?
Why is it rude?
It's very rude.
But why?
You didn't ask him.
If you came up and knocked someone over the head so they went unconscious, that's rude.
But
Exactly.
we didn't knock him over the head, but we press this button, and he presses a button, and you watch as Balthazar kind of jogs up his light. His eyes flicker back to life.
Are you okay?
I think I'm alright.
See, he's
What
fine.
happened?
And he turns Balthazar off again.
What right do you have to control his consciousness?
Well, we built him.
So?
Yeah, and now you have responsibility to treat him like a person.
Absolutely. And also, you haven't even looked after him very well. We're the ones that have been looking after him, so we're really the ones who'd be able to say whether or not he should be turned off or not at the moment. Actually, he should be the one to be able to say whether or not he gets turned off. And I imagine you should turn him right back on right now and then ask him that question.
Oh, fine. He presses a button, and Balthazar, you turn back on again.
If
Oh,
they
it
do
happened
that
again.
Balthazar,
What
if they do
happened?
that again, would you like Hiram to punch them?
Do what? What is happening?
So, these 2 fine fellows are decidingly choosing to turn you off. And then we've got them to turn you on again. Would you like to be turned off, or are you happy staying on? And like looking very pointedly.
You can't be turned off.
See?
The 2 gnomes look at one another, and Mixie pulls out a notepad and just starts making notes. Very interesting, she says. Does not want to be turned.
I've got questions for you both.
Yes, says Ferret.
Wait, you created me. I guess created this body.
Yes.
But you mentioned an accident. And something about a war wizard.
The 2 gnomes glance at one another.
Clearly you're somewhat confused and delirious. No, we absolutely 100% positively never said anything of the sort. Now, enough of this nonsense.
No, but where does the magic come from?
And they look at one another.
Come again?
Like my magic? And I cast light on the stick. And then lady.
As you cast light, the 2 gnomes, like, their goggles reflect the blue light from your staff as they peer up at you. And their faces are quite passive. And then they look at one another again and...
He can cast magic, Ferret. Yes, I'm beginning to realize he can cast magic. Mixie.
Yeah, I
Did
can
you
do this as
that?
well.
I didn't do that. Did you do that, Fred? No, I didn't do that.
I cast Shillelagh so that the stick like sort of vines like spring out from the staff. Can do this as well.
Is this a problem, Mixie? It could be a problem, Ferret. Yes. Well, we should make some notes. We should patch that out on the next model.
And then when I guess I don't sleep like at night when I just sit and think. I have like these dreams or memories, but they're not me. They're different.
He's having dreams, Ferret. Yes, he is having dreams, Mixie. Is that a problem? Yes, it probably is, Mixie. What are the dreams about?
It's a problem. Like a library, and there's war wizards, and like there's a party with some halflings, and like a whole bunch of things, and smells as well, and food. But
Do you think it's because they don't turn them off, Ferret? I think, Mixie, I think it is, Ferret. And the gnomes all look at you lot, accusingly. This is what happens when you don't turn him off. He has dreams.
This is what happened when you don't look after your creations well enough. I mean, you should definitely not be creating anything new and trying anything new for a long time, by the way. Irresponsible. Very, very irresponsible.
So, tell me again. So, it's a party and a library.
It's all a bit confusing, but like I can smell, I can taste things. I know what they're like. Like there's this whole other part of me which I don't really understand.
And they look at one another. The two gnomes look at one another and.
Well, I am sure that all of these things have no correlation to anything that may or may not have happened before the start of Project Balthazar.
What is Project Balthazar? What is it for?
I think I can. Yes, I can. Cool. So yeah, if you is anyone inciting?
I'm actually not going to insight. I want the others insight.
I think everyone else except Balthazar.
Yeah, go on then.
Love a prompted insight check.
Ooh,
Yeah, Badger.
It's a 20 from Badger.
11.
The rest of you guys suck.
Dumbo has no idea.
A 12 from Slate.
Dumbo barely cares.
Isn't he just a life raft? You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
So Badger, you are literally height. And given that you know gnomes as intimately as you do, you can just see like you can hear the squeaking from their shoes as they shuffle from foot to foot. There's just that kind of nervous wobble about them. They are fibbing. That much is true, and it is very, very clear that there is more they're letting.
Come on, guys. How is it possible that you created Balthazar and you don't know what he does?
What's this for?
What's really going on here?
Okay. As you watch as Balthazar lifts his hands and like this blue dome emanates from him, right? And it's the same blue shield that you saw. I'm guessing the one, Lymera. And as Balthazar, as you do that, like you hear some cries of surprise from the fellow patrons, and then you watch as one of the Lovecraft gnome staff, who's carrying a glass of like a tray of glasses, just walks into the side of the dome and oh! And you just see the drinks go like clash up against the side of the dome, spray out, and this gnome's just like everyone nearby is just drenched in whatever drinks this gnome was carrying. And like the gnome's kind of.
What is this for? I'll turn it off. Like, what are you making?
The Mixie and Ferret look at one another and they let out a little squeak, a little resigned squeak, and they I think
I think perhaps you should take a seat, Balthazar, she says.
Wait, are you gonna tell me like how it was made?
It's the nuts and bolts chat.
And Balthazar sits down and looks down at these two gnomes.
When a mummy
On
gnome
the-
and a daddy gnome love each other very much. For the most part.
And they make a Balthazar.
And Mixie sits there and she lifts up her goggles to look at you, and she's got these bright, like pink eyes, like her irises are a kind of bright pink. And as she looks at you, and she's got this almost like pitiful look on her face, and she goes to lift your hand up a little bit, just to move your hand, and she just doesn't go anywhere. So she just rests her hands on top of yours. Now, she says from behind her hands,
Let me tell you about a little, teeny little experiment to create a doomsday device called Project Implacable.
and as she says that, we will grab a 10-minute break.
Oh my gosh.
Ew. Nice.
Amazing.
I will see you in 10.
Sin.
Yeah.
Ten.
Hi, it's Julia. Hey, now you're here. Why not subscribe? It's really easy and it'll make your life better. 100% satisfaction guaranteed.
Satisfaction not guaranteed.
Welcome back, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
Okay, so we return to the Warhounds in the main drinking hall of the World Serpents Inn. You have sat down with Ferret and Mixie, the two gnomes from Lovecraft, and having found out that they have a button that can turn Balthazar off, you've also discovered. Well, sorry, it's also just been revealed to Balthazar by Mixie that he is a weapon of mass destruction courtesy of Project Implacable.
And a good boy.
And a good boy. So, yeah, as Mixie says that, Project Implacable, the two gnomes just grin at you, like ear to ear. And Ferret stands up and, well, now we've dealt with that, and that's all sorted. We can carry on with our days.
Wait. What is implacable? Like, who? Why did you make me?
There was some sort of harebrained scheme within the War Wizards of Cormyr that perhaps they'd been keeping a close eye on places like Lantern and all of the marvels that were coming out of that little island. All gnomish, I'm sure. Gnomish inventions, for definitely part of why they're so successful. But yes, they were keeping an eye on them, and they wanted a bit of the pie, so to speak. So they wanted to devise a Cormyrian soldier who could efficiently and quickly end any sort of conflict before it really kind of got started, you know? Through egregious brute force.
Oh, they got that right. They'll raise his staff and shield. Don't want to mess with me.
Yes, but because when they realized that it was a bloody terrible idea, they canned the whole thing.
Oh, what do you mean it was a bad idea?
Well,
I guess.
I mean,
Yeah, maybe it was.
he looks you up and down. Yes. So, you know, I suppose that we could almost. Well, I mean, you're somewhere between a mixture of like a hobby project and a favor.
A favor to who?
The two gnomes look at one another. Well, there may or may not have been a slight disruption when they were deciding whether or not to shut down Implacable. You see, and Mixie nods. There was an explosion.
Right, I remember that. That's when. Well, after I guess I woke up.
Well, yes. I mean, it's somewhat embarrassing. We were somewhat hoping that you would remember that there was an explosion, but clearly we have crossed that bridge now. And we will do our very best to walk with you on this path of enlightenment. So yes, there was a small explosion, but clearly you're fine. So no harm done.
I guess. Okay.
Yes,
Sorry,
you with the red hair.
Yes, I don't mean to interrupt, but what kind of damage was caused to Balthazar during the explosion?
They look at Balthazar, and then they look back to you, and Mixie leans forward and...
Now, let me let you in on a little secret.
Okay.
Balthazar wasn't born like this.
No.
No. No.
And she looks a little sheepish.
There was a disagreement between the war wizards. It would seem that some thought it was a great idea, and some thought it was less than a great idea. And they came to blows. We believe there was some sort of explosion. We know there was an explosion. We saw it. But, I mean, we wasn't expecting to find much left. I mean, the explosion literally blew the roof off. And as far as we were concerned, all hands were lost in the explosion. It was such a shame.
So,
Are you saying wizards died during the explosion?
Well, yes, maybe, and perhaps, possibly. No, yes, no, they pretty much all died.
I ain't no expert on, the sciencey doohickeys you're making, but they either died or they didn't, right?
Well, I always find that the boundary between life and death is somewhat of a mutable thing, you know? You could be both alive and dead, or dead and alive, and
This
More
mortal
straight from one-
Canaan's displace a beast.
Exactly.
It's either they were alive or dead.
Exactly. I mean, you could be alive, or you could be dead, or you could be a zombie. They straddle somewhere between.
so Balthazar's a zombie?
Well, no, he's a good boy.
And there's a
Yeah.
Quang, quang, quang.
and she slaps him on the
So,
chest.
what was he before?
Was he the roof?
Wait, is this connected to my dreams?
Well, he was, from what we gather, he was certainly a bit more inquisitive. He's too inquisitive for his own good, you see.
And Mixie turns around, and she's still got her hands on your hand.
Now, this may be a difficult pill to swallow, Balthazar, but you used to be a halfling. Not like him, much more handsome.
Wait, I was a halfling?
Well, yes. We were worried that you would find it a bit disorientating being 3 times the size than when we first met you.
Knew I liked your lifeboat.
Wait, is that why I've got those memories of the Halfling village? That's why. Yeah, it makes sense. And then the archives of the war wizards.
Oh, you remember that too, do you?
Yeah, I had a dream about it, or memory about it.
Oh, that's awkward.
Why is it awkward?
Oh, well.
Wait, where's my body?
The two gnomes look at you and
Wait, this isn't mine.
Now, Balthazar, you have to understand that I made
Balthazar looks under the table just in case it's there. Where did you put it?
I made a very, very concerted effort to sweep up what was left of your original body. There came a point when I realized it was just a futile exercise, so we just kind of swept it out with the rest of the debris. You have to understand that I tried very hard. I was going at it for a good 10 to 15 minutes. But there was nothing to be done about it. Someone opened a window, it left the breeze in, there was dust flying everywhere. It was a travesty, Balthazar.
Wait, what was it? Like an arm, a finger, or was it just dust?
It was all of you, Balthazar. It was basically all of you.
Wait, get me back. Go and get the dust back.
That's arguably somewhat harder to do than you might anticipate it is. But look at you. You're fantastic. You're a strapping young robot.
And you can float.
Guess.
No,
guess.
he can't. He's got far too much heavy machinery.
Oh.
Oh, what? That was the only thing I had going for me.
I mean, he'd have to swim quite hard to keep himself
So
buoyant.
he can't float, you said?
Yeah. Why would you think? Look, have you seen how much armor's on him? He weighs as much as a purple dragon armory.
Can I have another job on the boat?
We'll find you something else, Balthazar. Don't worry about it.
He sinks quite well.
He could be the anchor.
Oh.
See, Badger, that is why you are bosun. That kind of thinking.
I don't think we should make him the anchor, though.
Maybe if to just make it more make you more sail-proof, we could put some like sort of tar or something on you.
Oh.
I mean, this is all by the by because we're not space pirates yet, are we?
I think in space we don't even need to have the. There's no
I feel
need
like
to.
we're getting off topic. So, if I understand, there was an explosion. Project Implacable was commissioned by the War Wizards. Then they got cold feet. There was an explosion. Some War Wizards. Wait, how many War Wizards died? Some War Wizards died, including me. Although I'm not dead.
That's... Yes, I think you pretty much got the gist of it, yes. However, as we can see, given that you are alive and well, every of a lining.
I guess so.
Marvelous.
And okay, I'm just gonna think on this for a while.
Arguably, if I were you, I wouldn't go sniffing around because, truthfully, Balthazar, you'd be well in above your head.
Why?
Well, I mean, the war wizard, the wizard that commissioned it all. What's his name?
What is his name?
Is the son of I remember his dad's name, but I can't remember the son's name. It's Van der Hast's boy. You know who I mean, don't you, Balthazar? Anyone?
You know, Van der
Hast. Look it up. That's it. You made me look it up.
The name sounds
yes.
familiar.
Canrahast. I think he's a mage royal nowadays, isn't he?
Oh,
That's where we know
we've
the
met
name
that
from.
guy.
Hey, we might have an inn, Balthazar. We could.
Wait. So the Mage Royal commissioned Project Implacable.
Well, yes.
Okay.
But then there was, from what I gather, there was some argument about exactly what Cormyr would use the Warforged for, and some thought that it was a bit too dangerous, and they stood against it. But yeah, there was a bit of a disagreement, and boom, no more roof.
And no more Balthazar.
And no more Balthazar. But more importantly, the roof. It was a very nice roof.
Okay, well.
There was a lot of expensive equipment in that room, I'll tell you that right now.
Are you okay, Balthazar? You seem to be taking this rather well. If I found out I died and became a robot, I'd probably be losing my neath right now.
But look at him, he's fine. He hasn't even got tear ducts, so he can't cry.
Yeah, I think that might be the main issue. And
Well,
I guess I'm still fine. I'm still me, you know? I'm missing a bit of memory.
And now you know a little bit more about yourself, which is a good
And I've always
thing.
wanted to be taller as well, so, you know, that's a plus.
It's a
I
win-win.
don't float, which is a bit of a minus.
I'll say.
I still don't really remember much from before, so I can't really miss too much.
Quick question.
Yes, you. With the
Just
horns.
bec-
With the tusks.
Yes. I don't. Never mind. So Balthazar is getting his memories back.
Yeah,
It's like
yes.
slowly but surely. And you said that could be a potential problem. Could you maybe get into detail with that?
Well, what is potentially a problem is that if his memories keep coming back, he may eventually work up to the point of his atomization and the moments preceding that, which will paint a presumably quite an upsetting and violent picture of his imminent demise, as well as giving him the identities of everyone who was present in the room when everything went to the abyss in a handbasket.
It's a bad thing that he remembers more than it's a bad thing for you that he remembers because he can remember the people responsible.
Well,
It sounds like at the moment you have plausible deniability, but if he remembers, that goes out the, pardon the pun, out the hole in the roof.
I won't tell anyone.
The problem with the war wizards, Balthazar, is that sometimes you don't even have to tell them. They have their own ways of finding out what you know.
That is true.
Does that work with Balthazar?
So
though?
stay away from more wizards, and we'll be fine.
Well, I mean, the more that you remember that you're the product of Project Implacable, the more likely it is that those who were in favor of Project Implacable find out that Project Implacable is actually walking around Cormyr, being field tested by the heroes of Halleck. So, I mean, if anything, and he turns back to you, Hiram. Yes, the more memories he remembers, the higher chance, the higher the risk of death for all of you.
Right.
Ha!
That's
Right.
that's a development.
Do they get bodies too if they die, or is it just me?
Can the bodies change?
Yeah, can you make it in blue?
Can you make it in changeable?
So, Balthazar here is a very special boy. He's one of a kind, you see. I don't know if you've been keeping up, but there was a slight explosion I don't think you're really grasping the magnitude of this explosion. He was a halfling, and all that was left of him was bits of hair.
Hmm.
The explosion was so big, the eyebrows singed off and parted ways with the rest of it. That's all that was left.
Yeah, I'm not really a huge fan of having to do that.
So, yeah.
But if it does happen for any reason, can there be a way of being Balthazized?
Potentially, if you once he's been fully field tested, Balthazar could, I suppose, could be back reverse engineered to figure out how we. Well, thing is, I mean, we didn't really build you. I mean, we just put the seasoning and the cherry on top. You understand? I mean, the vast majority of the work was done by the War Wizards, but unfortunately, they met the same explosive end that you did. So no one really knows how we made you. But I mean, the whole point of Project Implacable is that one war could turn the tide of a war. So arguably, they only need one.
Oh, well, I guess. Where does my magic come from? Like this. I'll recast light on the stuff.
That is highly alarming.
Okay.
Not gonna lie, the fact that you are channeling magic through you is problematic.
Maybe I had magic before.
He did say he was a very special boy.
Well, it seems, says Mixie as she looks up, it seems that the magic is coming through his staff. I mean,
And she
can you turn your torch on?
Turn the stuff on.
Yes.
Balthazar turns it on.
And like Mixie leans up, like stands on her tiptoes, and you see her like stick her tongue out, and it looks like she's just licking like tasting it. And then she turns around and,
Don't worry, Ferret, it's not arcane.
So you're saying it's divine?
It tastes positively divine, yes.
Well, that's what Axica said.
Well, I mean, if you're getting it from a god, then there's absolutely nothing that could go wrong. As we all know, the gods in these realms are fair and impartial in affairs of mortals.
I have some books for you to read.
Right.
When
Okay.
you go to the religious section in a bookstore, which gods do you feel most drawn to?
she says.
I haven't tried it yet. I think I'll give it a go. Maybe we should get out of here and I'll go visit a few temples and see which one I like.
Very good. Let's hope it's not Baal or Shah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Ferret and Mixie. I
That's
don't know if I
okay,
should call you.
Remember, you're our special boy. Bong bong.
Can I just point out, I'm kind of worried that they don't seem to be concerned if it was Cyric.
and I mean he's he's all talk. He is.
I guess maybe I'll see you again.
Okay, well, make sure if you notice his eyes going red, if there is anything nearby to take cover behind, I would highly recommend that. The thicker, wood probably won't save you. Stone does a better job. If you can find adamantium, then that will give you your best chances of survival. You'll have approximately 6 seconds to dash if he goes into critical overload. I forgot to mention that last time, but I thought it would be bringing up now.
If that's the case, can we then turn you off, Balthazar, if we see the red eyes and the possible, well, sounds like scary explosion times, maybe?
I mean,
from
I
our
wanna point
theories.
out, we
Yes.
have been in a lot of fights. There were like several dragons at one point. If that didn't cause an Kraker overload, what would?
So you were fighting dragons, you say?
Oh yeah, a couple.
What color were they?
Red.
Ooh, you got off lucky then.
You should see them.
No, you shouldn't.
Yeah, don't actually.
I feel like that's encouragement for them. Let's not give them ideas here.
Anyway, I think at this point, the on-off switch is largely redundant. From our testings, we found that every time this button is pressed, it actually shortens the lifespan of a Project Implacable Warforged. So perhaps pressing it multiple times is probably not for the best. Whoopsie!
Well, that was enlightening.
Never mind, it's only a theory.
I feel like I need a drink. And it's either character, by the way. I think as the player, I feel like I need a drink after that.
We'll let you get on your merry way. You're probably off saving the... just not trying to die.
A bit late.
Uh,
Okay.
okay.
So,
um,
so that's where Balthazar's come from.
So with that, the two gnomes,
Nixie, always a pleasure.
the two gnomes kind of jump off their stools. They kind of straighten out their coats. They kind of they give you away. They turn to leave, and then they stop, and they because Balthazar sat on the stool next to them, and like they look at each other and just kind of pinch his the tunic that he's got, like the waist tunic, and then they just kind of peer underneath. You see them peer under the tunic and go, "Oh, okay, it's not happened yet," they say, and then they let it go, and then they, "Goodbye, see you later," and the two gnomes wander off.
Where did they put the remote? And would it have been possible to steal it?
They they left it on the table.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because you told them that they couldn't turn him on.
Yeah, someone will just push it towards Balthazar and go, "Here you go, lad, just in case you fancy not having any more sleepless nights."
How do I turn it back on?
Just leave it next to you, and one of us will come and turn you on in the morning.
You could get a rope, right? It's
Um,
holding
maybe,
a candle.
yeah. Maybe Badger should have this.
Okay. As
Yeah.
leader, I will willingly accept. I'll keep it
Okay.
safe.
I feel like I could have a drink, but that's not gonna happen.
Well, so you lot will have time to eat and drink. Mitrofer has some gnomes bring over your food, or again, all around the house.
Balthazar, do you want me to describe what the drink is like? Would that help?
Yeah, probably. I quite like that.
Okay, what would you like me to drink for you?
A nice red ale. That'd be quite nice.
Okay.
And like some subtle, like caramel notes, and a slight hoppy bitterness, and like a malty undertones. That'd be quite nice.
Yeah, how we didn't know you were a halfling, I've no idea.
And Balthazar replied in halfling, I guess. Try it out and say, well, I don't know. I guess I can speak it.
Oh.
I guess only Zumbo understands halfling, right?
For everyone else, it sounds like Balthazar's wooden joints have started creaking and twisting as he starts speaking.
I've always imagined like a halfling to kind of be like Flemish or Dutch for some reason. Like, that's like what it is in my head.
Except for you, it sounds like it's Microsoft Sam.
Yeah.
It's just logging onto the internet, isn't it? Ping ping.
Right. So as you as you kind of start working through your lunchroom, you will have some time to reminisce on discussions that you had in days gone past. And I believe that Katja firstly had a discussion about 4 days ago. So, Katja, where do you remember the conversation started?
It was after the probably a sort of a short time after the assault on the fort. Maybe as they were sort of packing stuff up, because I think Magnus said he would talk to her the next day. So maybe as the Ragerans were packing up for Katja approached Magnus.
Okay. So, yeah, absolutely. So yeah, you remember being in the in the daylight of in the King's Forest, like in the morning, seeing the first thing that struck you is how battered Fort Lymira was. Like the stones were scorched. There was a heavy stench that lingered in the place, a stench of death. Death and pork, what smelled like pork. You know that by the time you woke up, you know that the surviving Ragerans had already been up for some time to move the bodies from the confrontation into the northwestern corner of the fort near the watchtower, so they could be disposed with properly, but mainly to keep them away from everyone else for the time being. And you know, you remember seeing the claw, the stonework, and large chunks of like streaks of dirt pulled up from the ground, presumably from dragon claws. And despite kind of all the horror, yeah, you remember seeing Magnus kind of where you expected him to be, just kind of getting on with it, like seemingly oblivious to the grim visages around him.
She sort of approaches him and sort of just sort of. I imagine he's struggling with something. She tries to help him, but finds it too heavy, and she's like. Oh.
And yeah, he turns to you and, oh, don't worry, leave that there. I'll have one of the soldiers move it.
Thank you. Do you have a moment to talk? I need to ask you something.
Well, I can't stop, but I can talk. Yes.
Well, I was hoping. Well, I figured that Rager kept a close eye on things in the capital, and it'd be stupid not to, right?
She's doing what she can, but people are loyal to her. It's very dangerous within the capital for them.
But you have spies in his court, I imagine.
The thing with spies, Katja, is that sometimes it's very difficult to know exactly who they're spying. But yes, we have spies. I hope they're only spying for us.
I need to know, has there been any oddities in Ezered's court? Any new people? Anything that's raised questions for Raedra and yourself?
Raedra says that Ezered's a lot sullen and reserved than he used to be. She tells me that he used to be a much more charismatic man, but all of his public performances have seemed somewhat almost wooden, she described it as. And there but I can only assume that it's the stress of the crown, the weight of the crown, that's making him feel a bit more under pressure than he normally would feel. But the alternative is that there are rumors that he's finally found a new lady friend.
She swallows hard against that. It's like, a new lady friend? Any information on her?
Not well. I mean, that would be pry, but not that we know of. No. We know that it must be serious because, from what we gather, she's been her own private quarters in the palace itself. So clearly things are getting on quite well. You never know. Perhaps she'll melt his heart and convince him to bring all of this calamity all this mindless violence to an end.
I have another question.
Mhm.
Are there any new advisors that have ruffled feathers in the court?
I mean, the war wizards are still blathering around, doing what they do best.
Anyone out of the ordinary, Magnus? Like war wizards and purple dragons are to be expected. Maybe some nobles are to be expected, but just anyone who's just not the norm.
If Ezred has brought anyone else on, then I can only assume that he's meeting them behind closed doors. He's been more secret, as I say. He's seemingly been a bit more secretive than normal. Otherwise, in terms of public appearances, he's the same old Ezred, just a bit more wooden. Why? Why do you ask? It's a very specific question to ask.
It's a man who claims to be an advisor to the king, and if he is, it raises a lot of questions.
Well, where did you meet this man?
Talking to Caven Tor down in what's the Stagstead?
Well, either he thinks about it for a moment. Either that is something of that is a motive of information that causes concern. He's as good as blagging his way into a royal order. Donahue.
From pissed off Harpers for to help with things that happened in my past. You remember that, Magnus?
He looks at you. He's got this stern face on, but then he kind of raises an eyebrow. You realise Magnus being an arm.
If what I think has happened, it was all for naught.
Why? What do you mean?
I fear Ursula may have gotten her claws into the royal court somehow. And now to know that Ezred has, as she sits on one of the crates, has a consort, I'm even more worried that Ursula isn't just influencing the royal courts. I'm worried she is the royal courts.
Magnus tries to think if he ever met Ursula, and I don't think he did.
No.
Well, I mean, I'm not entirely sure how much influence a dance troupe madame would have over a king, but if you say so, I mean, we can certainly look into it. But maybe she's just giving him dance lessons.
As a soldier's walking past, she looks at the soldier and casts a gesture on him and says, "Dance."
Magnus looks at you as you do it, and like his eyes flick open. But isn't that just the thing where you really good?
But it's not, Magnus. It's something far, far more dangerous. And Ursula may have it as well.
And Magnus bites on his tongue a few times, like chews on his tongue with his back teeth. And when did you find this out?
Only a short while ago. You know the tattoo on Badger's arm?
Yes.
Obviously, it's a living being.
Yes.
It recognized the power. It's a power over mind. And as we were leaving here the first time, we started. He started recognizing that power.
Magnus looks to you. You see him like his eyes kind of look up as if he's gone into his mind palace, and then like there's a look of kind of unsuredness on his face, and then he looks down to you. He looks at the soldier who's still dancing.
Actually, you can stop.
Okay, and then he watches the soldier stop. He looks at you, and he sort of like he stops what he's doing. He puts his sword down. He stands up, dusts himself off. He just turns around and walks away from you. He just walks away from you. He goes around the corner, and then around the corner you hear, and then he walks back. Thank you for letting me know, Katja.
I only realized it myself recently. You know, it explains so much of things that happened, but I can't be held accountable when I didn't understand it. Now I'm beginning to expand the things I can do.
Wow.
I don't think I ever used it on you. I don't think.
Magnus purses his lips, his moustache bristles. I need to speak to Raedra, he says.
On that note,
Yes.
do not let Raedra know,
Why?
because she'd want to abuse the power?
An eyebrow raises. And how do you propose she would do that?
She would expect me to control the thoughts of her enemies. If I have the ability to make people dance on the spot, then maybe I might have the ability to make people vote in her favor. Send me into negotiations with people and just make them just so happen to see it her way.
He looks at you and says, "Thank you for your cooperation." And he stands upright. "It was good to see you again, Katja," he says. And he turned and left.
That was dope. That was a cool scene. I liked it.
Are you relaying this memory to the others at the table?
I imagine so, because she would have been unhappy with Magnus, because obviously he was meant to be a mentor to her, and I think she's felt he's kind of betrayed that slightly. So she would have probably been relaying this story, maybe even on their way down to Arabelle.
Okay.
So it's a story that would have been known
Okay.
at this point.
What has anyone else got any kind of passing thoughts on the matter? Or was it just deep concern? Concern.
If concern is definitely correct.
Magnus just needs a hug. It's really what he needs.
Yeah, I think it'd be more just
Oh, that's what
about
Raedra is for.
comforting Katya, and
Maybe.
just like reinforcing kind of like, if it is Ursula, we'll fix that. We'll get that. We'll get her.
This makes me more worried that the thing that Ezeret is after is for her to strengthen her abilities.
Yeah, but if it is, at least now you have a better idea of what we are dealing with.
Yeah.
We can prepare.
Yes.
Thanks, guys.
Okay. So you finish up your foods. Slate. So just to clarify, so when you were leaving Fort Lymera,
Hmm.
The changelings did tell you that. I mean, they came to, but they arrived to look for Baz, and they have now found him.
Mhm.
Baz has not joined you to Arabelle. In fact, he's gone to the Seven Oaks
Mhm.
to speak to the other druids there, and the changelings went with him. What? Because they've already been there, but now they're with Baz. They're hoping they
Mhm.
can get in now. Was there anything that you said to as they were leaving, just before they left?
Just remember. I mean, don't just always pander to what he does. He can be cantankerous to say the least, but he does tend to store good ales. You just need to look in the right places. Let me see. Try not to annoy him too much because he does get very, very cranky, especially in the morning. Don't interrupt his routines. Oh, but he's a damn good druid, and if you're in any way that way inclined, you can learn a lot of stuff from him. But also, don't be afraid to work on your own hobbies and tastes. I mean, you obviously have a thing for pattern clashing, and that's something to work on. See the world, find some fabrics, learn.
So the three of them look to you. They nod. Promise steps forward and thank you for your kind words, Slate. They say, and they turn to look at Baz, and he's just like he's started one already, kind of grumbling to himself and looking over his shoulder. He goes, come on, he says, as he was wandering off, and they look to you, and we will endeavor to become Baz, they say, and they nod, and they look at one another, and then you remember being mortified as they started ripping the sleeves off their clothes and sort of like ripping ripping their trousers and that to create like crappy looking like skirts, very similar to what Baz was wearing, like the just the rags, and then the Warhounds, all of you then watch as the three change turn, look at Baz, and then their skin begins to gain color and becomes wrinkly as they all turn into rough approximations of Baz, very much like Chiron was a rough approximation of Baz. And in front of you, you see three Chirons, if you were in a dark room with squinting, in multicolored rags, and they look to you. We will see you, Slate, they say. And the three not Bazes turn to leave.
Good luck. Oh, I'm really worried that Baz might kill them,
Okay, so yeah, you're on the one hand you're worried that they might die, but at least they'll die under Baz's watch. I don't know if that's gone. Okay, so you finish your meals, and it is very quickly do some shopping time. So out in the streets of Arabelle, you just wait for that to load. So yeah, you're shown the exit by one of the gnomes, and you appear in the southeast corner of Arabelle, down here. And yeah, the world is your oyster. Zumbo, you wanted to get your armor cleaned and upgraded.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is your first time in Arabelle, right?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, you are directed to. There is a trade caravan just to the which here it's Hiram that points it out to you, saying that that's where Hiram got his armor, and there were all sorts of kind of traveling armor merchants who could. There was definitely a leather worker there who could patch your armor up and sturdy it. Basically, put some lining on the inside of the coat, so you keep the style, but get the with the protection.
Just patch the holes and the rinse the dirt and blood out.
Yes, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay.
And yeah, whilst you're there, you're very easy to find. What do you call it? Studded leather armor. In fact, I don't know if you've ever had to look at it, but in the shops, Matt, if you go to the journal entries tab in the top right, which is the open book, and then there's a section shops.
Oh,
and then
nice.
In there should be a leather worker and the cost for studded leather. So 45 gold.
Oh, okay. How are we? This is probably a good point to ask how we're dividing up the gold and stuff.
Well, 5,000
between
gold
6
pieces. Oh, between 6.
Quick maths.
So that's 835 each. We'll just round out.
835. All right. So 45 pieces for studded leather. Okay. Yeah, that sounds fine.
Okay. So the 45 gold isn't necessarily leather. It's more like you notice that everything seems a bit quiet. But yeah, for 45 gold, they will repair your coat. They'll patch it up and they'll reinforce it.
Awesome. That's cool.
Sorry, just to check, was it 845 each?
35.
35. Okay.
Yeah. Anything? Who else?
What was that?
Let's go from let's start with Elle. What would Slate like to buy?
Well, Slate, am I correct in thinking I still have Moony Luna? Or did we end up?
You do, yes.
Okay. Then I have. I would like to ask around. I believe, if I'm looking at the map, somewhere on here there is a jewelers and gown. Makers. Where was it? I had it and now it's gone. The Net of Pearls.
Okay. Yep.
Seems like the right sort of place to hawk Moony Luna.
Okay. So the Net of Pearls is a particularly lavish looking. It almost looks like a bridal dress shop. As a general overview, but with decidedly more pizzazz and kind of bling. There's the ceiling is very low. It's quite well lit though, and there is a pervasive cinnamon smell in the air as you enter.
As a note, as entering as Ameline for this.
Ameline, absolutely. So you are at 77. So you are. They have a look, and you can see that there's a dress donkeys. Was that what it's called? Like a dress on a mannequin. And you can see that it's half made. The worker behind the counter seems to be distracted somewhat. But upon seeing Moony Luna, realizes.
Well, the minute I get in, I'd probably go.
Okay, so you are way over here. You as Ameline. The store clerk looks up, sees you holding this massive hunk of moonstone, and like this woman takes the glasses off her nose in shock and surprise, and you've answered my prayers, she says. This beautiful specimen, how much do you want for it?
I mean, I can't give you myself, but yes, I am happy to sit for portraits for you at any point to help promote your merchandise.
No, darling. The not you. The rock. How much for the rock?
Well, yes. Well, name your price. I'll see if I think you're a discerning and valuable tradesperson to be dealing with. This is quite a valuable and well earned.
I will pay 150 gold.
150 gold.
Yes.
I will consider it. However, whilst I'm here, I do wonder, do you have any enhanced gowns? Perhaps something that could work for...
She looks to you and... I will pay you 150 gold. And a garment, a dress, made of the newest fashion to come out of Neverwinter. Shadow weave.
Yes, that sounds intriguing.
Then, in exchange for the rock, I will pay you 150 gold and give you the ebon weave. It's said that under the right light, it can transform into any dress, fitting for any occasion.
Yes, I guess in this occasion, and with the sole extent as well of developing a relationship here, I see that we are off to a good start. I will deign to provide this stone to you for the mere, the small sum of 150.
Marvelous.
Plus this very, very nice sounding shadow weave. I will certainly, I'll say yes on this occasion.
Marvelous. A deal well done, she says. And then careful, she says as she reaches out for Muna. And as she takes it, like, you can see her face reflecting in the surface of the moonstone. And like, with crazed eyes, she looks from the rock to the half-made dress on the mannequin. And you hear her say, "It will be perfect." Perfect. Okay, so you gain 150 gold and a shadow dress.
Yay!
Which will allow you to change what you're wearing, what it looks like you're wearing as you transform.
My dreams have come true.
Okay, Badger. Is there anything Badger is wishing to buy?
Not buy. No.
Sell. Is there anything she's wishing to sell?
No.
Okay. Catcher.
Barter.
What?
Say again?
Barter.
Is there anything you should barter? Yeah, no. Catcher, is there anything you wish to buy?
Yes, there is. I guess sort of like more advanced magical items is going to be more a Sazale thing than Arabelle. But one thing she does want to get is some armor for Drool. Like, see if she can find some armor for him.
Okay. What flavor?
What flavor? Whatever, really.
I would argue, what's Drool's strength score?
Drool has an impressive strength score of 16. Full plate!
I mean, yeah, like you can buy whatever.
What would be more realistic for him? Ideally, I'm thinking leather.
I think Drool can wear up to medium.
Up to medium.
I would then argue that it's going to cost double what it says in Blacksmith Armory because you're fitting it for a dog.
Yes, exactly.
Like you're buying specialized dog armor.
Yeah.
So you can buy him a chain coat for 50, for 100, a scale tunic, a scale mount for 100. You can buy him a doggy breastplate for 800.
Doggy breastplate's pretty good. I like that.
A half plate for 1500. No, he can't use a shield.
No, of course not. I wouldn't even ask.
Rule of cool, Dan. Rule of cool.
I think we'll just keep it nice and simple. So it'll be 100 gold for like a chain shirt. Or...
Chain shirt or scale mail.
Oh my god, I'm trying to even figure how this worked. Like scale mail. I guess it would just be like plates that put on its back and then clipped around the front.
Yeah. Like
okay,
horse barding.
Yeah, so that's what I imagine. So I imagine she's gonna drop 100 on the counter for some scale barding for Drool.
Okay.
After the dragon incident, it's just like, you know,
So
needs to armor him up.
that is 101, which is, so you are over here. You're in the brown section. Cool. Perfect. So you're going off that way. Hiram.
I would like to buy also better armor for Emily.
Okie dokie.
She currently has studded leather, so I think scale would also work.
I don't think she's got the proficiency though. She'd only have a light.
Oh, that's annoying. Is there anything
So-
I can find for her that would help with her, you know, not dying?
Little buckler.
Protection.
Uh,
A little shield.
she could buy her a buckler,
sure.
but then she wouldn't be able to shoot a crossbow.
Is that
One and a crossbow.
I mean, she's up to AC 15 with her studded.
I suppose. If in
That's better than Katya.
Yeah,
that's not saying a
on
lot.
13.
That's not saying a lot. Actually, Dan, can you remind me? It was the lady's house where she was taken when she was revived, right?
Yes, the temple.
Yeah. In that case, I think Hiram is going to head there
Okay.
and try to talk to one of the clerics.
Yeah, so you're up here. And what is it you're talking? Is anyone else going to that?
Balthazar will.
Is that the
as well?
Temple of Timora?
Yes, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Zumbo would quite be keen, I think.
Okay.
Maybe my god is Timora. Yeah.
So Hiram, Hiram specifically, what are you heading to the temple for?
So heading to the temple, and if I would try to plug someone down and ask, sorry to bother you. What do you do all kinds of healing here?
So the priestess looks to you. You see, two priests, a priest and a priestess talking to a small halfling, all wearing matching religious regalia. And the halfling turns to you, and as you approach, she smiles. As you start talking, she does her "May Timor is great." Oh, as you just kind of jump into your questioning. We do provide also many forms of healing, including upon production of the right reagents, reanimation, resurrection.
Okay. What about healing of the mind?
The priests look to one another, and I don't follow, says the halfling.
So, let's say that someone went through something incredibly difficult and they are struggling to deal with it,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
and they are not in a position to reach out to their people close to them about it. Is that something that you can possibly help with?
The halfling kind of is struggling to think like how to answer. Unfortunately, the magic gifted to us from the Lady Luck, the wounds she can heal are those of the body. We are able to heal traumas of the mind, but it is a much slower, much more considerate path.
Okay, unfortunately, I am traveling quite a lot. Is there a way? Is there maybe a book, or a parchment I can point you in the right direction.
She. She thinks on it.
Revival in you. How to come to terms with becoming
She, this halfling turns and whispers to one of the priests. The priest kind of nods and he appears. A short while later, he returns and it's she offers it to you. The grand sum. Sorry, it's not a scroll. It is a book. And as you glance over it, you realize that book of the scriptures of Timor. The scripture book will cost 25 gold.
Can I leaf through it quickly to see if it actually is anything about? It's just a scripture of Timora.
It just talks about gods and stuff.
Useless. Yeah, it's effectively it is Timora's. Well, it's because Timor is all about luck and like good luck and good faith and so on and so forth. It's so whilst a lot of it is stories about Timora and her travels, the lands of the realms, there are a number of kind of lifestyle tips, if you will. The halfling assures you that
always,
if you read this and take the teachings of Timora into your heart, there have been those among the faithful who have said that it has soothed the soul.
Hiram looks incredibly uncomfortable and says like, well, thank you very much, and gives them 25 gold and gives the book back. So like, I appreciate it, but I don't think it's what I'm looking for. So take this as just some donation to your temple, and yeah, I'm just and he just very awkwardly shuffles out.
As you go to leave, she places a hand on your elbow, and you feel like she closes her eyes, and you feel a radiate through at your, and she opens her eyes. Thank you for your donation, Timora. Timora guide you, she says, and you feel a bit more zesty. You did a second ago.
Hey.
Okay, so Hiram leaves. Did Balthazar go in at the same time?
Yeah. Sorry. Do you think my deity is here? I'm kind of. I've been walking around. I'm waving my staff, but I don't really feel much. Do you think there could be a thing?
The halfling, like, because I assume you've just been stood awkwardly off to the side while.
So he's been running around waving his staff, trying to get like a beep or something.
So as you approach the three,
like a metal detector. I'm not getting anything.
When you ask, is my deity here? The halfling looks at you a bit confused, like because Hiram's just wandered off. She's holding this book. She looks up to you and hands the book up to you. It's been paid for.
Oh, great!
You should read the scriptures
Thanks.
and find out if you agree with it.
I will do. Awesome. Runs off. Hiram, I got this book for free.
Okie. Zumbo, you're in the temple as well.
Yeah, Zumbo would have kind of hung back a bit, not wanting the others to see him go in, and kind of he's skulking with his hat kind of down over his eyes, looking very uncomfortable in a holy place.
I can only imagine that the sound of your peg leg on the mark echoing out just sounds louder and louder with each step.
Basically, he's trying not to be noticed by anyone. He just wants to look for like a shrine or something that he can just quickly go to. I'm imagining it's like a fountain that you toss pennies in or something. But if there's some sort of quiet shrine that he can go to without being molested by anyone.
It's a slot machine.
You find it is like a donation fountain, and you notice that there are a lot of gold coins in the fountain. From what you know of Timora, a donation of gold is a surefire way to generate good luck. And As you approach the fountain with all the gold coins in, I mean, there's a part of you, I assume, that looks at all these gold coins and thinks, picking. But you notice that there is a peculiar man in ceramic white armor, like bright porcelain white armor with gold banding, stood at the fountain's edge, holding a hammer in two hands. And like when you look at this knight, the one word that comes to mind is white. This is a white knight. And he sort of like nods to you, and yeah, are you like going up to the fountain immediately, thinking up something to say to Time War?
Yeah, definitely. I guess when he catches sight of all the gold, the thought would definitely cross his mind. Oh, that's a lot of gold. But then he'd kind of look out the corner of his eye at this knight and go, maybe not. And he'd just kind of take his hat off and stand there a bit awkwardly. And
as you stand there awkwardly, this knight does that horrible thing where strangers just start talking, and I don't normally pray to Time Lord.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
But I feel like in times like these, perhaps it's a suitable thing to do. I think we all need some good luck, don't you?
Yep. Looks always good. Not much of a prayer myself, but having a go now.
Yeah, I always find that sometimes reaching for the guidance of the deities above really, can laser focus you on a goal.
Yeah, of course, it can sometimes be hard to hear the deities.
It's normally Melil that I worship. I find that the passion and beauty of her words really touches my heart. Met a young girl here. She was in Arabelle some time ago. She was a bard praying at the statue, and the words she spoke, they were poetry.
Yeah, you know what? I actually saw this kind of shady-looking guy over the other side of the temple. I don't know if you're supposed to be on duty or something, but he looked like he was up to no good. I ought to think you ought to go now. I thought I just should tell someone.
The knight looks to you and, no, I've done enough today, he says. And he throws a coin purse into the fountain, and it, boom, like it makes a splash as it hits the water. And then he nods at you, and he turns and he places a hand, gives you a good firm squeeze on the shoulder.
Ooh.
And good luck, he says, and he just turns and leaves.
Yeah, and you. And anyway, lady, yeah, no, we haven't chatted in a while. Sorry about that business in Cezale. And they'll just take out a gold coin and flick it into the fountain.
Okay.
I hope this, settles the account. Luck's been, picking up. Things have been really picking up lately. Falling in with this new crowd that seemed like a good bunch. So thanks for that. Didn't like the dragons so much. If you could, maybe a bit less of that.
As you kind of say this awkward prayer to Timora, you notice a disturbance on the surface, and you watch as the coin you threw in gets pushed out by an orange tentacle, which then, as Betty's tentacle then disappears back under, you see her just rise out of the fountain and just sit like with this gold coin that you threw in, looking up at you, unblinking.
So I'll just like look at her for a minute and go, and if you want to keep her, to sweeten the deal, that's all right.
You then see another disturbance under the surface of the water as another coin is pushed out, and another small orange octopus climbs out. And you notice there are two Bettys sat in front.
Wait, no, this isn't. I said good luck.
And
good
then
luck.
You watch as the coin pouch, just thrown in by the White Knight, is pushed over the lip of the fountain as a third Betty climbs out.
Oh.
I think there's been some kind of misunderstanding here. This is not what I wanted.
And as you recoil, the 3 Bettys gather up their coin, and pouch, and they slither towards you at an alarming speed and disappear up your trouser legs.
He'd just be like yelling and flashing. They probably, Hiram and Balthazar see him just peg it past them out of the temple going, "This is why I don't pray."
A priest is you as you rush past. And no matter what you do for the next hour, you cannot get rid of the 3 Bettys that are currently scampering across your body.
Nightmare.
Amazing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, if everyone is done, the rendezvous point was the crossroads in the center of town, if we all remember. And as you all congregate, we will call it there. Perfect. So, yes, as we bring that to a close, thank you all for playing. Welcome back to Arabelle and Cormyr. You have successfully completed session 14.
Woo.
Hey.
Yay. Right,
Thanks,
so next week we will begin our journey to Walloon. Beautiful.
Awesome.
Thank
Sounds
you
very good.
all for playing. Thank you for watching.
You guys.
And I will catch you, and I'll catch you next week.
See ya.
Bye.
Yes, guys.
Yeah,
Bye.
bye.
Yeah. Bye.
It's good to be back after the holidays, and I hope you all had a good new year. We've all been excited to get the Warhounds back into the swing of things as we continue on with the adventure. A quick announcement in case you haven't seen it, we have launched Tavern Between Dimensions, a monthly tabletop RPG podcast hosted by myself, Carl and Anton, available on Spotify and other podcast streaming services. Segments from the podcast will be uploaded here every Friday, and you can now listen to episodes of Cormyr Echoes of War as podcasts as well. Links are down below in the description, also with the links to our other social media accounts. If you want to have a quick catch up with the story so far, you can find another episode by clicking here. And if you're enjoying what we do, it would mean a lot to us if you could click here to subscribe. Once again, thank you for joining us, and as always, may the realms endure.